All right. Good morning, Morena, kia ora, hi everyone. Thanks for joining us today on our third series of our Travel, Trade, Enrichment webinars. It's great to have you joining us this morning, and we really appreciate your continued support. For those that have joining us for the first time, welcome, and for those that have been following us through our other two series, thanks for coming back and joining us. Before we kick off today, I just thought I'd go over a couple of housekeeping things. Firstly, you're welcome to post any questions that you have throughout the webinar this morning. We're going to keep this webinar short and sweet, during about 30 minutes. So please use the Q&A button to post your questions throughout. That would be really appreciated. There will be a recorded version of this webinar available hopefully tomorrow, and you can share that with your colleagues, and also there'll be a copy of the presentation as well sent out to you all with all the links to everything that we're talking about and all the resources as well. All right, so for those I haven't met, my name's Wayne. I look after Brand USA for New Zealand, and just to quickly go over what you can expect from today's webinar. Firstly, I'm going to do a really quick recap of our essential trade tools that I mentioned on our last webinar. I'm also going to review the Giant Trees and Ancient Forests Insider Guide. And then I'm going to hand over the reins to our special guest, Penny Brand from Gate 7 in Sydney. She represents Napa Valley, North and South Lake Tahoe, Mammoth Lakes, Yosemite Mariposa County. And then there will be an opportunity for us to go through the Q&As. And then we'll have the Kahoot quiz. So for those that have downloaded the Kahoot app, we'll be letting you know of the PIN number just before the Kahoot quiz starts. And then we'll be giving you some details of our upcoming webinars for our next two, actually. All right. To kick it off, I'm just going to share with you our new tool, which is our US COVID-19 travel guidelines. So what I'll do here is, I'll give you a quick demonstration actually, but it is on our Travel Trade site, and I'm going to show you that now. It's a great resource for you. So if you go to traveltrade.visittheusa.com.au, this will bring you up to our homepage. And then if you click this arrow on the right and then go to the coronavirus travel updates, click on view more, and then it will bring you to this page. And if you scroll down, it will bring up all of the cities and states listed here. And for example, I'm just going to click on Hawaii, and what it will do is will take you directly to the State of Hawaii's Department of Health page for COVID, and in there you'll find a raft of information about travel information, more importantly, and all the latest updates from that particular state's Department of Health site. So that's a really great tool for you, and I encourage you to go in there and have a look, or even just save it as your favorites. It also has guidelines and updates from all the major hotels in the US, and also all the airlines as well, not just US based airlines, but all airlines internationally. All right, our Travel Trade site, as I mentioned before, traveltrade.visittheusa.com.au. This is a one-stop shop for you. You can find a raft of resources in there, videos, images, all our insider guides and road trip itineraries are in there. There's contact details in there for all the city and state DMOs that will direct you directly to their Travel Trade site. So if you're looking for maps or information or suppliers, it's all in there. So I encourage you to go in there and have a look. And our USA Discovery program, I know that a lot of you are already joined up to the USA Discovery program. This is the official training site for the USA. We've got over 50 specialist badges in there, and there's some of them there. We've got a Lake Tahoe specialist badge, California specialist badge, there's so much in there. It's a fantastic site. We will be having another incentive that's starting in September. I know that there will be a $1,000 Visa gift card up for grabs. It's going to be a short trade incentive for 4 weeks. So be on the lookout for that information on our Facebook page, and also via tabs on travel. We'll have all the information coming out to you, but you heard it here first. I haven't actually told anybody else about that, so be on the lookout. All right, our Go USA TV app. This is an app that you can find on your app store. It's free. There's no registrations or sign-ups required. It has a huge amount of content on there, from short documentary series to full-length movies. And if you are looking for some content or want to view a particular state or city, yesterday I just typed in the search bar Napa Valley, and it brought up some great video content. And one of them is around the Culinary Institute of America, which is in St. Helena in Napa. So if you haven't downloaded it, I encourage you to go in there and have a look. It's got some great content on there. Our USA Trip Planner, for those that aren't familiar with this is on our Travel Trade site as well. And what it does is you can actually put in there a whole lot of information and to create a bespoke itinerary that's customizable. And rather than me talking about it, I'll give you a quick demo, because as some of you have joined our previous sessions, you'll know that this is one of my favorite tools, which I really enjoy. So just going to give you a quick overview of how that works now. So if you go to the Travel Trade site, go to Plan Your Trip, and you scroll down, see Trip Planner. And I'm just going to plug in some destinations here. So if we just put in Los Angeles, and then I'll put in Las Vegas, and then you want your start and end dates. I'm just going to put in some random times here. And this is quite important, this activities preferences. So my clients might like something that's got hidden gems and is slow and easy, includes shopping, historic sites, maybe a bit of culture. And based on those inputs that you've put in there, it will now create a bespoke itinerary for you with all the must-sees and do's along the way. And you can actually add in accommodation, flight details, and if I scroll down, you'll see it has all the most popular must-sees and do's along the way. And you can see a day-by-day plan. And you can add in all the flight accommodation details in there. And you can view it by calendar. And if they're doing a fly drive, it can actually puts in there the drive times in between each of the must-sees and do's along the way. And a really excellent tool that I like is that you actually you can share the plan, you can save it, you can print it, you can put your own branding on it, and you can put even your USA Discovery Program specialist badges on there to show that you're a specialist in Los Angeles and Las Vegas. So yeah, that's the trip planner on our Travel Trade site. So it's great just to go in there and have a play around and have a look. Our Facebook group, for those that don't know, we do have a closed private group, especially for the New Zealand travel trade. If you go into your Facebook page and just type in Brand USA Travel Trade New Zealand, you'll find it. Here we'll have all the latest announcements, competitions. There's some really fun kind of sense of community that we've created. So we really want to keep this only to travel agents. So if you could kind of hold back from inviting your friends and family, that would be great. We would love to have as many people on there, but we really want to just keep it to the travel trade, travel agents. So we'd love you to join us. It's been designed specially for you guys to create a sense of community. All right, and now it's our insider guide. We'll be sharing this insider guide with you. It's on our travel trade site. It's downloadable. It's this particular insider guide or road trip itinerary is all localized in kilometers. In the future, it will be a bookable product that you can book through your preferred wholesaler. It features San Francisco. It starts in San Francisco and ends in San Francisco, but it features Lassen Volcanic National Park, Lake Tahoe, Yosemite National Park, and you can actually customize it to your client's needs. And we also have wonderful images and video content that you can download linked to this particular insider guide. So that's available on our travel trade site. And yeah, we'll also be sharing the guide with you post this webinar with links and information. So this kind of segues me nicely into introduce to our special guest today, which is Penny Brand. As I mentioned before, the lovely Penny represents Mammoth Lakes, Yosemite Mariposa County, South Lake Tahoe, North Lake Tahoe, and Napa Valley. So with that, I will now hand over to the lovely Penny. Thank you.
Hi everybody, how are you? Thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate your time. So what I'm going to do with you now is I'm going to take you on a little bit of a Californian road trip. Now, what most people think of when they're doing the California road trip is cruising along the coast and doing the beaches. But we're going to take a little bit of an alternative view this time, and we are going to head up into the high Sierra Nevada mountains. So starting in San Francisco, we're going to head up to the beautiful Napa Valley, one of the great wine regions of the world, up to North Lake Tahoe, hook around to South Lake Tahoe, check out the beautiful Mammoth Lakes, and go through Yosemite on our way back to San Francisco. There are lots of ways we can do this, but just for today, in my 15 minutes, I'm going to keep it, you know, sweet, mountainous, lakey, and just beautiful. So starting in San Francisco, obviously a fabulous city that you don't want to miss. But what I won't go into detail with that today, because it'll probably just take me the full 15 minutes. One tip that I will throw out to you is from San Francisco, heading up to the beautiful Napa Valley, they do have some fabulous alternate peak times. So if you're unlucky enough to be going into San Francisco during the week and there's some conferences on, you can find the prices can be a little bit high. So we recommend going up to the Napa during that Sunday night till Thursday, and then doing San Francisco on that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just a little bit more friendly with the rates that are there. So the beautiful Napa Valley is only about an hour and 20-minute drive up from San Francisco. Oh, clicked the wrong way, sorry about that. And the valley itself is really famous throughout the world. It's 48 kilometres long and about 10 kilometres wide, but within that area, there are actually over 500 wineries. And they're not just boring little wineries, sheds out the back, they're fabulous grand wineries. There's French chateaus, there's, you know, beautiful Gothic mansions, and they even have their own castle there in Napa Valley, believe it or not, a perfect replica of a 13th century Tuscan castle. So loads and loads to explore, not to mention all the fabulous wines that are there. As Wayne mentioned right at the start, it's also got a fabulous culinary scene. So it's home to 140 restaurants and also more Michelin stars per capita than anyone else in the US, and also home to the CIA, the Culinary Institute of America, not the waterboarding ones. So fabulous there for anything you want to do in the Napa, especially for all those wine lovers a little bit like me. From the Napa, we are going to head up to Lake Tahoe. We're going to be making a stop along the way because we know how much the Kiwis love their outlet shopping. So the Vacaville Premium Outlets are located there on Highway 80 and definitely worth a little bit of time to fill up the suitcases, grab yourself anything you need, and then we're going to head up into the beautiful Lake Tahoe. It's not a long drive, only just 3 hours, and you're climbing up into the beautiful Sierra Nevada mountains. And when we're going to get up there, we're going to go and stop in the beautiful North Lake Tahoe. Now, Lake Tahoe itself is the largest alpine lake in North America, and it's also the second deepest. It's got an actual depth of 501 meters, so it's this old volcanic crater surrounded by fabulous mountains and wonderful hills. What's really interesting is that the lake does straddle both California and Nevada. It's about 2/3 in California and 1/3 on the Nevada side. It just sort of splits it a little bit differently. So think California, lean, green, wood cabins, and then when you get to the Nevada side, a little bit more of the nightlife and old school Vegas with the casinos and old West sort of feel. The area has also got the highest concentrations of ski resorts in all of North America, would you believe? And there are loads around the lake. The two famous ones in, well, let me go back one. The two famous ones in North Lake Tahoe, we have Squaw Valley, Alpine Meadows here, and we also have North Star. Down on the south part of the lake, we have Heavenly, so loads of options there, and they get fabulous snow, really long season with lots of really great big bluebird days. The lake itself is also just divine year-round. So whether it's summer, when you're out sunbaking and playing on the water and doing all your water sports, or in the winter with the snow-capped mountains, sitting there drinking a lovely glass of red around the open fire, it is a fabulous little spot. And there are loads of little towns in the area really worth exploring. Fabulous for the outdoors. I'd recommend to everyone that they do a trip around the lake. Around the lake itself is about 90 kilometres, but it's perfect for a day trip. But today we're going to go from North Lake down to South Lake. And people kind of ask me what the two main differences are with that. Now, South Lake Tahoe really is the major town there on the lake, whereas the North Shore is dotted with tiny little villages. So depending what you or your clients are after, the main feel is really the size. If you want everything at your fingertips, you're going to get that more in South Lake Tahoe, and in the north, it's a little bit more of that seclusion and outdoor. So lots of little options there. As I mentioned, South Lake Tahoe does straddle the border between California and Nevada. So one side you can have a little play on the pokies or go to the casinos, and the other side you can hang out in your log cabin. So that nice little contrast of differences within the region there. It's, as I mentioned, just a really stunning natural wonderland, and the views all around it are fabulous no matter what time of the year that you go. With golfing, boating, outdoor activities, really nature's wonderland. In South Lake Tahoe, we're going to jump back in the car and we're going to take a little bit of a road trip down to the beautiful Mammoth Lakes. We're going right through the Sierra Nevada mountains here, so we've got some beautiful, beautiful peaks all around us. It's fabulous year-round, but we're going to take a couple of stops on the way, and we're going to go to Bodie, and we're also going to go to Mono Lake. You can see them listed there on your screen. Now, just to show you that Bodie is California's official ghost town. So fabulous for all those Instagrammers and people who want to see something really, really unique. You can get out there and you can hike, look at all the beautiful old buildings, and it was pretty much in the exact state that it was when it was closed down in the late 1800s. One point to note is in the winter time, you won't be able to get out to Bodie because they don't plough the roads, but pretty much any, up into the really late autumn, early winter, and then starting again in the spring once we've got the melt. From Bodie, we're also going to stop at the beautiful Mono Lake. Now, Mono Lake is one of the oldest lakes in the world. It's quite a natural wonder in the fact that it's got all this water going into it, that the only way it comes out is via evaporation. And that's why you have those amazing looking tufas, which they call those sort of calcification sculptures that are coming up from the lake. So you can take a hike around that, do a little kayak, just a great way to get out of the car and see this, otherworldly lake. So from there, we're going to stop and stay the night in the beautiful Mammoth Lakes. And it really is one of my favourite little spots in the high Sierra Nevada mountains. Mammoth Lakes is fabulous year-round, in the summer for hiking, outdoor activities, all those amazing things. The town sits at the bottom of the mountain, and it looks like one of those, fabulous mountain villages. During the winter, it gets an average of 10 metres of snow. So it's got one of the longest ski seasons in North America. It tends to open around November time, and depending on the year, will close as late as July, August. So you can even get in your spring runs during there. The mountain is also fabulous in the summertime for mountain biking, hiking, all those things. And it's called Mammoth Lakes for a reason, because there are 7 little lakes that surround the gorgeous little town. The mountain itself is massively huge, so it's Mammoth by name and Mammoth by nature. So it's at over 3,000 feet, and they've got about 3,000 metres, and you've got about a kilometre between the top of the mountain down to the village that are there. So any lovers of the snow, or as I mentioned, the mountain biking, it's there for you as well. So this just gives you a bit of an idea of what the mountain does look like. And these runs are not only ski runs, but they're also mountain biking. So for those active adventure lovers, it's really fabulous. And the mountain the village sits there at the bottom, surrounded by this fabulous Mammoth Mountain. So moving on from Mammoth, we're going to head on down into Yosemite Valley. Now, everybody has heard of Yosemite, or I hope they have. It is one of the most spectacular national parks in the USA. The drive from Mammoth Lakes down into the bottom of the valley is just over 2 hours, and that's to get you to the valley. The park starts itself just past Lee Vining, which is up here off to the side of Mono Lake. One point that is worth noting is this is more of a trip for your summer, spring and autumn, because the Toga Pass, or the 120 heading down there, is closed within the winter time. So the beautiful Yosemite in Mariposa County is a highlight to everybody's bucket list while they are there in the gorgeous Yosemite Valley. Now, there are 4 main entrances to the park. For the sake of this webinar, we are coming in on the 120 Toga Pass, but as I mentioned, this is not opened for those winter months. There are alternates coming in from San Francisco during the summer, or up from LA as well. So really great. We do actually recommend to make the most of Yosemite is to really travel to look in that off-peak, but try and avoid those peak summer months, and come anywhere from sort of September to the May period, where the park is a little bit more of a natural wonderland. Just to give you some of the points of some of the fabulous things there, there's obviously Half Dome, the Yosemite Falls, the beautiful giant sequoias, and then the old town of Mariposa. El Capitan, which is the very famous mountain you'll see in Tulla, over the bottom left-hand side, that's a sheer cliff of over 1,000 metres. So these just stunning panoramic views that will really get your heart racing. And that just sort of gives you the famous Yosemite Valley, which I can't sort of speak highly enough As I mentioned, we are going through everything a little bit faster, but this is a fabulous alternate road trip. And from Yosemite, you can basically take the drive back to San Francisco, which is sitting there about 3 hours, 50 minutes, which is really the longest drive in this itinerary. So it's a great way to do all these amazing places. Fabulous 2-week trip, stopping everywhere, really feeling like you're out of the bustle and seeing these world-class spots. So that brings me to the end of my Northern Californian road trip in 15 minutes, but I'm also happy to take any questions before or after trivia, whatever you prefer, Wayno. So I will pass it on to you.
Thank you so much, Penny. That was a fantastic 15-minute presentation. You did really, really well, and just amazing, all those different places along that amazing road trip. There's really something for everybody, regardless of like if you're not into sports or if you're into wine, like I am, and I think you may be too.
Yeah, it's my soul's, Napa's my soul place.
Now on that, I know that you've been to Napa quite a few times, and there's so many wineries there. And this is kind of a tough question, but I'd be really keen to know what's your favorite vineyard or winery.
It's so hard because I'm a fan of pretty much every type of wine there is. Probably to put it at the top, I do love my bubbles, and the Carneros Champagne House or Bubble House there in Napa in the southern area is just fabulous. They've also got a little mum place there, and I've done the tasting there, and it's, yeah, great. But there's pretty much something for everyone's taste in the Napa, and they have every grape variety that there is. So if you like big busty reds or lights or whatever, they've got it there in the valley.
Fantastic. Thank you for that little insider tip there, on especially around the bubbles. All right, guys. Thanks so much again, Penny. And for those that have got any questions, now's the kind of good time to post them. We've got one question here from Melanie. Thank you, Melanie. She's just asked, are there any recommended places to stop on the way from Yosemite back to San Fran? For example, any shopping centres that you could recommend?
Yeah, there's a shopping centre. It's another Outlet Factories. It's the Outlet Factories of San Francisco, but it is in the far sort of north, so it's about an hour away. I would recommend stopping in Mariposa as well for a little bit of an old town feeling. So to go from the valley, it's about an hour from Mariposa. You can stop there and check out this sort of old country and western type town. And then I would do the factory outlets of San Francisco, which is probably 2 hours from Mariposa and then an hour back into San Francisco. So that gives you a couple of nice stops along the way.
Fantastic. Thanks, Penny, and thanks, Melanie, for your question. If anybody else has got any questions, please feel free to post them. If not, if you've thought of something after the webinar, just please email me at my email address there, and my email address is also on the Zoom notifications that you would have got as well. All right, so it's now quiz time, everybody. So I'm now going to reveal the PIN number. So there we go. The PIN number is 995490. So I'll just give it a few minutes for everybody to join up. And once the quiz is finished, everybody, if you'd just like to just hang around for a couple of seconds, I've got details of our next 2 webinars coming up with 2 destinations that I'm sure that you would really be keen to hear about. And one of them, we have never had a presentation or had them talked about in New Zealand before. All right. So I'll just give it a few more minutes before we start the Kahoot. And just to be, just so you know, guys, the Kahoot quiz questions are quite fast. So be prepared. Hi, Belinda. To join Kahoot, you have to download the Kahoot app, or else you can join by going to Kahoot on your desktop or on your iPad. I hope that you can join. All right, I'm going to give it just another few more seconds for those that would like to join. Okay, so we've got 33 players. That's pretty good. All right. I'm going to start it very soon, guys. Penny, would you like to do the questions? Because I think you probably know the questions better than me.
Yeah, I can do the questions.
Okay, I'm going to start it, guys, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're off.
California's hidden gems.
Right.
How long is the Napa Valley? Is it A, 100 kilometers? Oh, 48 kilometers, 55 kilometers, or 27?
Right. And the correct answer was, of course, 48 kilometers.
Not bad for 500 wineries, is it?
Pretty good. Okay. Now, how do I move to the next one? It's asking me to end the game. I don't know why.
Oh, do we need next? It's got next question on there. Oh, next is in the top right, Wayne, probably behind our picture.
Phew. Thank you, Penny. That could have been really awkward. All right, get ready for the next question. All right, so Royal Mouse is in the lead.
Oh.
Second question.
With a maximum recorded depth of 501 meters, what is Tahoe's rank in terms of the United States' deepest lake? Is it first, third, fourth, or second? And we've got, it is the second deepest lake in the US.
All right, we'll go to the scoreboard now, and Royal Mouse is still in the lead. Okay.
Woohoo!
Next question.
What approximate percentage of Lake Tahoe is on the Nevada side? Is it 2/3, 1/2, 1/3, or 1/4? And the answer is 1/3 is on the Nevada side.
And oh, Inspired Lizard is now taken over the lead, followed by Honest Llama and Salad Deer.
Wow.
All right, next question.
What is the average snowfall per year in Mammoth Mountain? Is it 5 meters, 15 meters, 10 meters, or 20 meters? Boom, we got the most right there with 10 meters. That's right. Not bad for an average snowfall, especially when you're from Australia and it's about 2.
All right. Okay. And Inspired Lizard still in the lead, followed by Salad Deer and Honest Llama. All right. Our next question.
How high is the famous sheer rock El Capitan in Yosemite National Park? 500 meters, 750, 1,000, or 1,500? And it is 1,000 meters.
Great. All right. Thank you. And the last question. And here we go. Oh, Inspired Lizard is still in the lead, followed by Saladia, and Honest Llama is third. Okay, here we go. Last question.
How long is the longest drive on the alternate Californian road trip? 3 hours, 30 minutes, 2 hours, 40 minutes, 4 hours, 20 minutes, or 3 hours, 50 minutes? It's a tough one at the end, and it's 3 hours, 50 minutes, even though most of you got it right.
Excellent. All right, let's have a look and see who's won the $150 worth of Visa gift cards. And the third place goes to Honest Llama, and second place is Stella Deer, and a winner of $150 worth of Visa gift cards is Inspired Lizard. Congratulations, Inspired Lizard.
Congratulations.
Well done. If you could please send me a screenshot or on your phone just to verify that you are Inspired Lizard, and email me at wmitcham@thebrandusa.co.nz. That would be great. All right, thanks guys for participating in the Kahoot quiz. I'm just now going to give you details of our next webinars, and they are 2 weeks from today. We'll have our New York NYCN company, which is the tourist board for New York City, Makiko, will be joining us. And 2 weeks after that, for the very first time, we will have Discover Puerto Rico joining us in a webinar, which I'm actually really looking forward to. So please earmark those dates in your calendar. We'll be sending out details of how you can register for those webinars, but bookmark those in your calendars, and we would love for you to join us. And that ends today's webinar, everybody. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to come and join Penny and I. Thank you, Penny, for being such a wonderful host. We really appreciated you being able to squash so much in such a short period of time. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your rest of your day, and thanks again for your ongoing support.
Thanks for listening. Appreciate it.